Now that I've got the front mould of this Bellet on the car, you're probably expecting that the next job I'll move straight into is the moulding of the second half of the flip up front that will join this, which is the bonnet and the two guards. I haven't done that yet because I need to have cut off this rear quarter panel through here, which is a separate piece to the rest of the front end. And to be able to do that, I've got to have finished sculpting this rear quarter guard on both sides. It's still attached to the front guard at this point in time because that's what aligns everything and holds this piece in place properly. So that's what I've got to do. I've got to finish sculpting these panels on both sides, then cut them off the front mudguard, and then I can mould the rest of the front flip up front. So this is where I'm going to focus my attention now. Where these two panels join, you don't want a gap there. So what I've got to do is I've got to add a flange to this panel that will overlap. I've got a bit of tin and that's got to go on the mould like so. So I'll glue that on and that will become an overlapping lip on the inside so that when that front clip comes down, there won't be an air gap that you'll see through there. It'll just come over the top of it nicely. While a number of the front panels that I'm sculpting are drying with fillers and fiberglass and so on, I'm going to tackle another job we need to address with this car, and that's where the exhaust comes out. When the owner arrived here with this car and he was unloading it off the trailer, he had a few problems with the chassis rails breaking on the car trailer when he was trying to unload it. Although I fitted side skirts in the car, that shouldn't make that problem any worse because the side skirts don't go down below the level of the floor as our rules allow. But the problem that we do have is that he had this fairly substantial exhaust going out the side of the car on the passenger side, and that was catching too. And having put side skirts there, I don't want to put this underneath the side skirts because that'll just ruin his ground clearance completely. I don't want to put the exhaust out the back because we're going to build a rear diffuser out there and I want to maximise that space. So I'm going to do what I did on my Civic, and as the rules allow, I'm going to route the exhaust pipe from the transmission tunnel out through the side of the car. So I'm now going to take the angle grinder of this car and cut a slot in the floor and make a tunnel for the exhaust pipe. And that will include a heat shield as well. Kids get taken for rides on charity days in this car, and we'd like to be able to retain that. So we want to keep the passenger seat. So the pipe where it comes across here has to go across behind the passenger seat. I don't want to get up in here where the seat is because there's too much stuff to cut and chew away there. So I think I'll come at 90 degrees straight across from the transmission tunnel at the back of the handbrake and go out in front of the bar and put the pipe out through the wall of the car there. The only rule stipulation is that that exit point has to be behind the midpoint of the wheelbase of the car which is right up in the middle of this door. So we're well within the rules exiting the pipe out there. So I've got to cut the floor out, make a tunnel to go in there. I'm going to hold this new exhaust tunnel in place with a few large pop rivets. I also want to completely seal out any chance of exhaust fumes ever leaking into the car. So I'm also going to fiberglass right around the edge. But I'm not going to use poly resin because that does not stick to metal. So I'm going to use epoxy resin like you use with Kevlar and carbon fibre instead, because that adheres better.